Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. The publication of this report and today's debate are further steps along Scotland's journey and the history that's actually been made, and I'm delighted, certainly, that members of the Inverclyde Historical Society are actually in the gallery today to actually witness today's contribution. Presiding Officer, I warmly welcome this debate, and I'm pleased that, as a committee, we can actually speak with one voice on the issues surrounding the draft clauses published on the 22nd of January, and I aim to focus my attention on two areas of the report. First of all, the fixed odds betting terminals, the Pt10s, that's paragraphs 412 to 415, and also the employment programmes, paragraphs 302 to 313. Regarding the Pt10s, members won't be surprised that I raise this issue once again in the Chamber, and I've been consistent in raising my concerns as to how damaging these machines actually are, and I've campaigned for more powers to actually come to this Parliament regarding these machines, and I welcomed their inclusion in the Smith recommendations, even though they are limited. Paragraph 415 of our report published last week clearly highlights our committee's limited evidence received on the issue, as well as highlighting our concerns on the limitations in the draft clauses, which would have no effect whatsoever on existing premises in Scotland. The area of Pt10s is now even more in need of further clarification, as the two new UK Government ministers who will deal with gambling, as John Whittingdale MP, the new Culture, Media and Sports Secretary, has previously pushed for rules on Pt10s to be relaxed and has supported having up to 20 Pt machines per betting shop. In contrast, the junior minister, Tracy Couch MP, who in 2013 said that she believed that we should look carefully at limiting them, or limiting the stakes that people can actually place on them. These mixed messages at UK government level need to be clarified as soon as possible, and that's why I've written to the UK government asking for that clarity. However, we as a committee will scrutinise these clauses in the bill when it's published next week. The second issue is that concerning the employment programmes. The Smith recommendations were crystal clear. Paragraph 57 of Smith said that the Scottish Parliament will have all powers over support for unemployed people through the employment programmes currently contracted by DWP on expiry of the current commercial arrangements. The draft clauses, unfortunately, don't go that far, and in paragraph 335 of our report from last week, we state that the committee considers that the clauses, as currently drafted, do not fully implement the Smith Commission recommendations. The committee considers that the Smith Commission intended that all employment programmes currently contracted by DWP should be devolved. We received evidence from organisations expressing their concern at the draft clauses on this issue. However, if we go back to the 4th of December 2014, when we took evidence from the then Scottish Secretary, Alistair Carmichael MP, on the issue of the work programme, then it's clear that there has been a lack of clarity about this particular issue from the outset. It was reported that day that the work programme had been extended to the spring of 2017, and when questioned by Linda Fabiani, MSP, Mr Carmichael stated that the decision had taken place in August 2014. However, when I questioned Mr Carmichael on whether Lord Smith was aware of this decision, he replied by stating that he didn't know, but my colleague Linda Fabiani, however, gave a determined no, and this is all on public record. I raise this point, Presiding Officer, not to be partisan, as most of the contributions so far, including mine up to now and what we'll say further, have been constructive and consensual, but to highlight one area where there actually has been a lack of clarity. Clearly, the draft clause 22 from the UK Government published in January needs to be improved, and providing this Parliament with the ability to help all and to have the flexibility over the length of time an individual has been unemployed will aid greatly governments of all political hues in this Parliament going forward. Presiding Officer, the evidence we received on transferring employment powers was helpful. One such body to provide that evidence was the Employment Related Services Association, ERSA. They stated in paragraph 304, ERSA continues to believe that that's a sufficient provision would be best achieved through devolution of responsibility for all in-work and out-of-work welfare policies and benefits to the Scottish Government, including responsibility for Job Centre Plus in Scotland. Last week, the STUC signed a memorandum of understanding with the Scottish Government of further powers that should come to this Parliament as a priority. These included minimum wage, trade union and employment law, health and safety law, equalities legislation and further powers over social security. If these powers can be transferred, they would provide this Parliament with greater flexibility and opportunity to help with the employment programmes, such as the work programme or work choice, the latter programme being a specialist disability employment programme. Every member clearly wants more people into employment and training, and we should always strive to improve upon what actually is being done. Unfortunately, the current draft Clause 22, published in January, won't deliver what is needed, and the new UK Government have an opportunity to deliver something meaningful in the new bill from next week. In conclusion, Presiding Officer, in various areas of our report, we have highlighted that the draft clauses do not meet the spirit and substance of the Smith Commission recommendations. We also consider that our unanimous report should be taken into consideration by the new UK Government when it works on producing the new Scotland Bill. Clearly, the draft clauses don't go anywhere near far enough for the SNP members, and that obviously is a given. And we will continue to press on willpowers to come to the Parliament. But nonetheless, I would suggest that the comments from Ben Thompson on the 23rd of January, and Ben Thompson, the chair of the campaign for Scottish Home Rule, I think they're apt for the draft clauses. And he states the real missed opportunity in this command paper is that it does not deliver a sustainable proposal based on a set of principles that gives Scottish Parliament control over domestic policy. In other words, it does not deliver Scottish Home Rule. It's now up to the UK Government to strengthen these clauses and live up to the spirit and substance of Smith, and who knows, from my perspective, even go further than Smith. Thank you very much.
Many thanks.